Hello, I'm Bill Jones, and I'm the chairman of the board of KPLE-TV. I'm here today, and we're going to have a very special time together in which I get to visit with our very good friend, a fellow board member, a retiring chaplain from the United States Army, and just all-around good guy, Ken Sorenson. And Ken is our current general manager for KPLE-TV, and we're just going to have a good time this afternoon and just have a conversation about things KPLE. We're going to start with Catherine Mason, and we miss her so. And Ken and I have a long history with Catherine and KPLE-TV, and then we're just going to talk about things related to the station, or related to our community, related about Ken's career in the military, and what he's looking forward to here at KPLE, and just we're in a new season. We're post-COVID, we've got a new general manager, and in a very exciting time. So let's dive in and say hello to Chaplain Ken Sorenson. And Ken, it's great to have you here, and we're really looking forward to having this visit.
Well, Bill, it's great to be here. I have been waiting for this interview for a little while, getting acquainted with the staff. But I think back of meeting Catherine Mason back in 2007 for the first time at a banquet and thinking, what is this woman doing at a TV station? But then over time getting to know her and seeing what an incredible woman of faith she was and is. It was really very endearing, which of course then maybe get interested in the TV station because of her involvement, because of her leadership, because of her vision for having a Christian television station in Central Texas. And the tie-in with the military, because of me being an Army chaplain, she asked me to be on the board back in 2013. And I was like, why would I want to be on the board of a TV station? We move all the time, but you can't say no to Catherine. No. And it was just a great learning experience, and just getting to watch her in action and watch her lead, getting to meet the other board members, but hearing the vision for the TV station and why KPLE-TV was here and its value added to Central Texas. Yeah. I don't know, I could talk forever about Catherine.
Yeah, so. Can't we though? Yours and my history, they run very parallel, because we met as a result of your involvement with Catherine, and Catherine brought you to the Mayor's Care Network.
Yes, out in Temple Belton.
Yes.
And that's where we met. And I can't credit that all to Catherine. That was also Greg Shanup, my former division chaplain, great man in the community, who suggested back in '96 when I first came to Fort Hood as a battalion chaplain, he said, you have to go to area organizations and meet the people in the community because they provide services for soldiers. But it was Catherine that invited me out to the Care Team Network while you were mayor in Temple. Right. And that was how you and I got connected, but amazing. I just couldn't leave that be because of the fact that there was others involved in helping me see beyond the Fort Hood community to the larger community of Central Texas.
Yeah. We all kind of learn that lesson as we move up the ranks, as it were, whether it's in business or the service, and that once you're connected with the community, it's important to be involved in that community. And this is where we end up today, is part of our involvement has been at KPLE as a result of Catherine. I served as mayor of Temple for 11 years, and then I got to work with Maureen Jewett, who was the mayor of Killeen part of the time I was mayor. Well, and she's a board member with us.
Yeah, it's amazing the different people involved with this station, and you get to meet them, and really the board members are pillars in the community. They're not just board members of the station, but pillars in the community and known throughout Central Texas. And yeah, I don't want to get on that trail to talking about Maureen and y'all. It's just, the station has so much to it, so much more to it than just the programs that you see on the air. There's so much behind it that makes it run. So many people.
Like it says in the book, the little TV station in Killeen.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah. Catherine's book is really a miracle this station is a miracle station, and does provide so much to this community that people don't realize. So, anyways.
Yeah. So, she's still. We're missing her.
Yes.
She still has a spot in your heart and in my heart, and we honor her memory because of this station. But we just think of her and her legacy that she left Central Texas, and her dream and vision for a Christian television station in Central Texas. That was what drove where we are today. And 25 plus years ago. When she won the license to the station in an FCC lottery.
And next month is the 30th anniversary of her signing the 501c3.
Okay.
September 30th anniversary.
Wow.
Right around the corner. And I think, okay, what would prompt her and Valerie Holcomb and Mitzi Gibson to start this station? And truly visionary because of the different things that are happening over the internet right now, where different voices are being canceled or removed from the media space.
Sure enough.
And so, which makes this station just go up in value exponentially because of the fact that as other voices or people try and cancel the Christian voice, KPLE-TV continues to be on the air to make sure that there's a voice for the gospel speaking into Central Texas.
So true. And that truth is what it is that we need to hear, and that our community needs to hear, and that's the truth of the Lord Jesus Christ. And we are blessed because of Catherine Mason that KPLE-TV is here, and that we still have it in this environment and in this new season. And this truly is a new season for us. We're post-COVID now, I think, finally. So it's what we went through these last few years. It seems like much longer, but I guess it's just really been a couple years, 2.5 years now since the first official lockdowns and that. But there's been so many people impacted. We haven't had a banquet since 2019.
Which is why we're going to do a banquet in October on the 25th over at the Killeen Civic Center, because we haven't done that for so long. And we need to start getting the word out that we're doing the banquet. We'll get a letter out shortly, but the reason we're doing it is to get back to a sense of normalcy and letting people know that KPLE-TV is still on the air. We're still here as a service to the community, to the larger Central Texas community, and trying to make sure that we empower area churches with the things that the station offers and supports believers across Central Texas in getting the gospel out.
Yeah, I think, we're in such a different time today, because 2.5 years ago, how many churches were live streaming their services? Compared to the number that are now. They were just the big churches or somebody that had a lot of technology knowledge within their congregation, or a far-sighted pastor who might have seen that possibility. And now the smallest churches are putting their services on Facebook, or they're streaming them. But that doesn't mean there's still not a very important role for KPLE-TV.
Yeah. Well, the thing, it's not just the programming that we air on the station, it's the staff here. Regina, Val, are so good at helping churches better use their equipment and putting things together. And we're going to really work with the non-for-profits in the area. The plan is to really work with them in getting their message out so that they can have a sound bite that they couldn't put up on the web about their organization. Yeah. So because of the studio that's here, we're not just a TV station, but a studio. And because of the staff here, we have so much to offer area churches, area businesses, area non-for-profits, foundations in what we're capable of, our capabilities.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's really good. And I think this banquet on October 25th can be a celebration for the community, to celebrate a lot of things, to celebrate just our new freedom from
being
COVID.
Able to get out.
Yeah, to get out, to be together, to
Yes.
worship the Lord in community, which is so important.
Absolutely.
But it's also an opportunity for the community to come together and celebrate Catherine Mason.
Yes, and that's what the big statement for the theme for this year's banquet is built on faith. And the faith of Catherine Mason and others to envision forward. And now here we are 30 years later, where you have an opportunity to celebrate that faith of this woman, Catherine Mason, but not just her, Mitzi and Valerie. It wasn't just Catherine. There was a whole bunch of people in the community that rallied around her and said, we need to do this. And Catherine Mason's big line, just do it.
Yeah. And I mean, the unsung heroes, and you've already mentioned a couple of them. Yeah. That's Val and Regina, but Steve and Deanna, such a dedicated, loyal, loving staff.
Yes.
That have been with Catherine just almost from the beginning. Yeah. And in fact, they were actually with her over at the college.
At Central Texas College, and then they came over here. And these are all things I'm learning about this staff, how...
Aren't they amazing?
Yeah, absolutely amazing, and a gift, truly a gift that God brought them here for such a time as this, to be available to keep things running, especially Steve, just making sure all the electronic equipment continues to operate.
There is so much. Yeah.
There is so much to keep you a TV station on the air.
Transmitters and antennas and air conditioners and I mean satellite dish. I mean it's really a very complex business.
Yes,
and those few people have been able to keep it going for as long as they have is just absolutely an amazing thing, a real testimony to that team that Catherine led for so many years.
Yes, sir. And that's what I was going to say, Val and Regina, as far as their capabilities, what they learned over at Central Texas College and other places, and then brought that expertise here that, if I were a local church, a local business, I would be on the phone with them and saying, come over to our place and help us do this better, because their expertise, because they've been doing this for so many years, is so incredible. And just sitting down with them.
Well, something else we wanted to do today, Ken, was just you're our new general manager. And kind of in a unique manner. We don't need to get into all that detail, but you're basically transitioning from a 32-year career. Do I have that number right?
Yes,
32
correct.
years as a chaplain in the United States Army, all over the world, being chaplain to soldiers, being chaplain to chaplains, leading from companies to battalions to divisions to the Corps. Throughout your career. Tell us just a little bit. I know you don't want to get into that a lot, but it's an important part of who you are, and the community needs to know that you, as the new face of KPLE, just kind of who you are. Share that with us a little bit.
I think is back before I went into the military. I grew up in Wisconsin in the 60s, and was raised in the era, of Billy Graham and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Saw the I Have a Dream speech back at 6 years old and got really inspired by that. So when I moved over to an all-black elementary, I was the only white kid in my class, and after a few years got accepted into the Brotherhood. Profound impact on me, and for me it was an answer to prayer, because I wanted to be part of the fulfillment of the I Have a Dream speech. That's inspired me throughout my life, and that really inspired me as I got into seminary, into youth work, and then got into the military. And with going into the military, such a bond in the military that's hard to explain to the outside world, where your family, where there's a unity across ethnicity, because we're all in the uniform, and our families come together as one. But times on deployment, deployed 3 times to Iraq, 1 time to Afghanistan, plus Kosovo, plus Bosnia support, plus Iraq or Kuwait back in '97. Been with the 1st Cavalry Division 7 years, and other divisions, but just the transitioning out of the military, I was really, in a way, saying, Lord, how am I going to leave this after 32 years? And when in prayer, the Holy Spirit said, you're going to go to the TV station. And I was like, when I called you, I was I was very, very serious about it. I was like, wait a second, this was not my plan. Yeah. I wanted to do ministry, at a VA or Scott and White Hospital, something like that in Central Texas, because we did plan to retire here, because our kids, most of our children, adult children, live here in Central Texas, or close to it. So I wanted to come here. My wife and I wanted to come here and retire, but no plans to work at the TV station. So when the Holy Spirit just said, you're going here, it was a very profound moment for me, but gave me a transition direction rather than just going to another employment, another job.
Well, I remember when you called me.
Yeah.
I know where I was. I was sitting in my car. I had just pulled in my garage, and I saw you pop up on my phone. I took the call, and we had this conversation, and by the time we were just a few minutes in, and you told me what you had thought, and I said, my heart was full. I was just with you. We were crying and celebrating just together or wherever we were, and I knew where I was, and I don't remember, you were probably on post out east.
I was out east at Aberdeen Proving Grounds on post. I remember the call from the office, because I was a little jittery, because I was like, okay, Lord, maybe I didn't hear you correct, and called kind of nervous, and you were so excited, which was confirmation. Plus we received all sorts of phone calls and emails from people just saying, this is the right thing for you right now. And which I would have never imagined. I didn't put that together, because I think
well, we don't put things together. The Lord puts things together,
the Lord
and then puts us where He wants us.
Well, I didn't exactly, my military is such a all-absorbing lifestyle. Yeah. You don't really, the average soldier, the majority of the soldiers, never think about afterwards, because they never want to leave. And so this gave me a place to land, a place where I could go and yet be close enough to Fort Hood to go see people in uniform, go see soldiers and their families. And that's one of the things I hope we do develop even more so now that I'm here, is a partnership with Fort Hood, that we really connect. The station connects with the communities, the Fort Hood community's needs, and that we can do some programming that'll really be identified with the soldiers on the base.
Yeah. Well, I've got kind of a similar, story. After a 53-year career in business, still in business, a recovering politician. I have to leave an office after 11 years, and then to get a call. I'd started seminary myself, and I'm still in seminary at Truett in the Wesley House, and to basically get a call from my pastor saying they need a supply pastor at a church here, just not far from where we are in Pidcoke. And so 14 months now I've been in the pulpit, and I did not expect that, and I absolutely love it.
Which is God's leading, God directing, guiding. It's not based simply on our natural gifts. It's based on His calling. That's way down inside of us, that He doesn't necessarily release that information to us until the right time. And an ever unfolding plan of God for each of us.
So those like you and I with gray hairs and few hairs, and here we are starting new careers and as excited as kids.
Yes, in our 60s.
Yeah, but it feels good.
It feels good,
doesn't it?
Yeah, I feel like really like a kid in a candy store. Because there's a new energy, and because there's such an untapped potential to this station. There really is, and unfortunately, because we haven't had a general manager the last few years, a lot has been on the shoulders of one Bill Jones, and that to keep things going, and the staff that's here.
Yeah, the staff.
But I see a new. You said a new season, and that's why the other half of the statement for the banquet, one built on faith, but we have to go forward. So I believe that the station has a mission to prepare for the return of Jesus Christ. That encompasses revival, it encompasses an enlivening of churches, of believers across the spectrum of Christian faith. That we're here to help empower and enliven and quicken, the King James word, quicken believers across Central Texas so that they can shine forth as lights, like it says in Philippians 2, so that when Christ returns, we're ready. The bride is ready. So there is so much here at the station, so much that we could talk about, but I want to save some things for the banquet, save some things for programming that we have ahead, save some things for when I interact with people out in the community.
Yeah, that's great. I was just going to say, since I worked, quite a bit with this West Bell County when I was mayor, and the deployments were just beginning in 2002. And I remember General Peter Corelli here at First Cav, and I remember General Milley here, and there are so many. I mean, I'm going to forget so many great generals that were here commanding and were deploying and taking troops overseas, and that was a time when our communities really came together. And so I got to know a number of people over here. Well, now I'm back in Coryell County, is where my church is, and involved in the station still. And how many retired chaplains do I know now that
Lots.
I say, yeah, I do, and I'll say, oh, yeah, and we work with Ken Sorenson. Oh, I remember Ken, and we served together here and there. So I mean, I have a hard time throwing your name out, and people don't give me a list of where you guys served together. Either you served under them, or you mentored and tutored them, and it's wonderful how many chaplains we have here that have given their lives and their service to our nation, that decided to stay in Central Texas, just like you, or come back to Central Texas.
So many of those chaplains that I won't go through the list of names, but so many of the chaplains here that retired here to Central Texas have their fingerprints on me, where they've imparted so much wisdom to me. In particular, besides Greg Shanup, I think of Bill Shelnut over in Copper's Cove,
and I see him every month.
Bill's heart for the Lord, his heart for prayer, and him teaching me things. But it's those, and well, the late Gene Tyson too, from my first assignment, him pulling me aside and teaching me about ways we can help assist the soldiers and their families. I'll never forget being in his office, but it's a connection. You brought it up because in 9/11, the community really came together. And now I believe we have a chance for the community really to come together again as one, committed to helping each other, assisting each other, and just having a unity across the body of Christ that, you find discussed or prayed for by Christ in John 17, but we have an opportunity to see it here again post-COVID, as you mentioned over and over.
It's a new season. Yeah.
It's a new season, and we really have a chance for us to come together and really draw on the strengths of one another and make a difference for so many in this community. And
well, it's an exciting time for you and for me as we enter new phases of our lives and kind of put the good times behind us from previous experiences and bring those forward to help this community be all that it can be. Where have I heard that before?
Yes. Well, that's this community. It really has. Just like the station, an unlimited potential, unlimited chance for it to do so much for one another and for the entire state of Texas. That was
it's a great place to be.
Yeah, well, like they say, like General Lynch put in for Fort Hood, the great place. The great place. And marking it down. But I believe he may have misspoke because I believe Central Texas is the great place, not just Fort Hood.
I've heard more generals say that is what helps make the great place the great place.
Yes.
Is because it's here. Yeah. And they've been many places around the world, and they don't know any place like it. So I think when I hear them speak of the great place, I hear them speaking of the region, not just the post.
The base.
Well, we're at our end of our time, and this was a great conversation, so thank you. Welcome.
Thank you, Bill.
We'll do it again.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah,
okay.
God bless.
God bless.